Imagine this, you check your phone, recheck your phone, and then you just stare at the wall for a while because, well, reality appears to have made an administrative mistake in your favor. You won the lottery. A lot of money. Enough to change your life. And, if handled badly, enough to quietly damage it too. Because sudden wealth does not just buy freedom. It also attracts chaos, bad decisions, loud emotions, fake urgency, people with plans for your money that somehow begin to sound like moral obligations. So if you suddenly get rich, what should you actually do? First, tell nobody, or as close to nobody as humanly possible. This is not about being cold. It is about staying sane. The moment people know, the atmosphere changes. Some will congratulate you. Some will become supportive. Some will suddenly rediscover emotional stories, family duty, old sacrifices, or an investment opportunity that is apparently too good to miss. Money attracts needs, real ones, fake ones, and theatrical ones. So before you do anything else, protect your privacy. Silence is not selfish here, silence is security. Second, do not stop working, at least not immediately. This surprises people because winning the lottery is supposed to be the great escape from alarm clocks, meetings, and people saying just circling back. But work is not only income, it is structure, rhythm, identity, a reason to get up and remain connected to reality. The danger is not that you keep working too long. The danger is that you stop too fast, drift too easily, and discover that endless freedom without shape can become strangely empty. You do not need to keep the same job forever. You may want to change it, reduce it, redesign it, or walk away later. But do not go from full structure to no structure in one emotional afternoon. Third, pay off your debts. This is honestly one of the least glamorous uses of money, which is exactly why it's usually one of the smartest. Debt is, well, negative freedom. It limits your choices, eats your future income, and quietly keeps part of your life owned by somebody else. So, before you start fantasizing about upgrades, remove what is weighing you down: credit cards, consumer debt, high-interest loans, anything expensive and unnecessary. A rich person with chaotic debt is still, in an important sense, not free. Fourth, do not lend money. Because, loans to friends and family are rarely just loans. They become emotional contracts, and when repayment goes badly, which honestly it often does, the money is gone and the relationship is damaged. If you really want to help, it's often better to give once, clearly, deliberately, and within limits you can live with. No vague arrangements. No pay me back whenever. No turning Christmas into a repayment schedule. If you give, give. If you do not want to give, don't lend as a way of pretending to be generous while hoping finance will save the boundary. It usually won't. Fifth, calculate your freedom figure. This matters more than the shopping list. Most people ask, how much can I buy? The better question is, how much do I need to live freely without eating the core of the money? In other words, know the number that covers your life well, calmly, comfortably, sensibly. Then, structure things so you live from the income or return, not from constantly attacking the principal. Because once you start treating the pile itself as a buffet, the magic becomes surprisingly temporary. A fortune is not just a large amount, it's a system. And systems survive only if you stop confusing access with permission. Sixth, start investing, but, boringly. This is actually where people become really vulnerable. They think sudden money means they now need sudden sophistication, private deals, bold moves, a friend who understands markets, maybe even a guy called Sebastian explaining upside over lunch. No. Start investing, yes, but do it carefully. Diversify, spread your risk. Think in decades, not like adrenaline. A good portfolio is usually less exciting than people hope and more effective than people admit. You do not need to become a genius. You just need to become hard to destroy. Seventh, buy freedom, not stuff. This may be the hardest rule because, well, stuff is visible and freedom is not. Stuff photographs well, freedom does not. But honestly, Freedom is the real luxury. Freedom is time. Freedom is margin. Freedom is being able to say no. Freedom is not panicking at every bill, every boss, every Monday, every minor crisis. A larger house may be wonderful. A better car may be enjoyable. But if your spending creates a lifestyle that needs constant feeding, then your wealth has not liberated you. It has simply upgraded your dependency. So buy things carefully, but prioritize what gives you room. Room to think, room to choose, room to breathe. And a few more rules, because lottery winners are often ambushed by their own excitement. Do not make big decisions in the first emotional wave. Shock is not wisdom in a better suit. Build a quiet professional team. A tax advisor, a lawyer, and a conservative financial expert are much more useful than charisma. Do not confuse luck with brilliance. You won money. You did not become a philosopher king. And maybe most importantly, do not let the money redesign your character. That is where things really go wrong. Some people become arrogant, some become guilty, some become paranoid, some become everyone's emergency contact with a bank account. But the point of wealth is not to become a different species. The point is to become more free, more steady, and less trapped. That is the real win. Not proving anything, not performing success, not buying a louder life than the one you actually want. So if fortune ever lands on your doorstep, do the unexciting thing first. Be quiet. Keep working for now. Clear your debts. Do not lend. Know your freedom figure. Invest carefully and buy freedom, not clutter. Because sudden wealth is not only a test of what you can afford, it is a test of whether you still know what matters once you can afford almost anything. And that, sadly, is not included in the jackpot.